In this video, we're going to discuss the life up to date of Aemon Targaryen and his tragic fall. Let's begin. Aemon was a prince, yes, but was widely looked at as an oddball. Even when he was young, his own brother and the Strong kids picked on him together. Both his brother, sister, and the Strong nephews claimed dragons before him. He almost got burned trying to steal his sister's dragon Dreamfire. He once said he would be happy to marry his sister when he was young, but I don't think that was genuine Targaryen love. This was just him trying to find his position or find his lane, find his place in the family. He really didn't love his sister. Why did he try to claim her dragon if that was the case? I'm just pointing this out because I don't think he loves anybody. I pointed out Mr. Cole's love and embrace of Aemon, but Aemon doesn't touch him back. I think Aemon appreciates Mr. Cole for spending time, hours, training him to be a proficient fighter, and they are definitely hand in hand in planning and strategizing in the war against the Blacks. But love? No, I don't think that resides in Aemon. Aegon didn't know the plan. Alicent and her brother didn't know the plan. The council didn't know the plan. When they showed Aemon and Mr. Cole staying up late nights, making their own plans and strategizing for the war between the two of them, I think this is smart to keep things secret, but this also tells me that Aemon doesn't trust the king's council. He doesn't trust the king. I don't think he trusts his mother. I also think it's interesting he doesn't hug his mother. He doesn't touch his mother. He's never hugged or touched his father. I point this out to say Aemon doesn't give a shit about nobody. I think Aemon cares about Aemon, even in his relationship with the old whore. It isn't love. He feels comfortable with her services. He loves her mothering. He loves her listening to his problems after his long day of work. I'm sure he tells her some secrets as well, but he likes to unload and complain to her, just like a wife. However, Aemon wouldn't bust a grape. He wouldn't scrape some loose coins in his dresser to help her or change her station or impact her life. If Aemon wanted to, he could promote her and give her her own land, her own place to conduct business, a new position within the Red Keep, so he can spend his nights in private with her. I'm sure business is all she knows. I am sure the business is all she knows. She could manage some other girls, could make her main client Aemon, or her only client Aemon. But Aemon wouldn't do that. His passion is not love. Unlike Tyrion, Aemon is not like Tyrion. He knows she will always be a whore. Tyrion was so sick when Shae was laid up with his father. I know Tywin was like, look son, I already knew her I had her before you had her. Where do you think Bran got her from? Aemon is very late to claim a dragon, and for this I do salute him. He has a big sack to claim Big Vhagar, and he did that. Once he claimed Vhagar, he also brutally lost an eye. The Blacks would say that this was some kind of accident, but there was no accident. This cannot be forgiven. Luke escalated the situation to another level, and he stabbed Aemon in his eye. This was not a play accident when he got away with it. He thinks he got away with it, but did Luke get away with it? Aemon bonded with Vhagar when he was stabbed in his eye, so Vhagar had to feel the pain, just like Syrax had to feel the pain of the loss of Rhaenyra's child. They went through that birth together. Vhagar went through that pain and that stress of losing his eye. So understand, Vhagar went through that. He knew who Luke was. He didn't just get away stain free. Luke had a huge stain for life. Imagine a relative of yours stabbing you in your eye in anger. There are people or family members that could steer you away from immediately retaliation. There are family, but eventually he will have to pay for what he did. Retribution always, as long as blood flows through the veins, has a price. He would need to have to pay that. He didn't want his life, he just wanted Luke's eye to even the score. Aemon practiced for hours on his skill with the sword. I mean, even rich kids don't get keys to the Ferrari when they're 12. Aemon had the biggest, baddest dragon in Westeros. The Black Dread Balerion had been dead for years at this point, Vhagar was the king, or the she-king of the dragons / dinosaur, because she is huge. He actually grew taller than his brother Aegon, and I don't think Aegon would be able to handle him in a fight, but older brother power does have an emotional leverage and familiarity. But older brother does have emotional leverage, and I'm sure he's very familiar with his fighting style. I remember when the Serena sisters would play, Venus would beat her sister in the finals, and everyone knew that Serena was more powerful and a better tennis player, but she still lost to her older sister, but that eventually passed. She eventually passed her sister. I'll use a Star Wars reference. Anakin couldn't beat Obi-Wan. I think if they fought 10 times, Obi-Wan would win 10. He knows all his moves. He trained with him for years. He never lost to him in life. Vader didn't beat him. So I have no idea. I think I've made my point here. At first, I found it interesting. Aemon didn't take a wife or have any heirs. I mean, it's strange that Aemon wouldn't add to the Targaryen lineage. Aemon didn't take a wife or have any heirs. Aemon didn't add to the Targaryen lineage. He didn't grow the bloodline. But I also think he thought, why like his uncle Daemon marry a woman of a lesser house? Aemon seeks to be king. First, he has no desire or dedication to anyone but himself. He would not marry for love. He would maybe marry for legacy, his own legacy, but without the crown, marriage, and children aren't any use to him. So in that video, you see Big Vhagar. When he saw Luke and his dragon Arax, he warned them what time it was. I don't know what that sound meant in English. Big Vhagar is silent. Vhagar is a quiet dragon. She doesn't scream. She doesn't do a lot of growling. So for Vhagar to start talking, when Lucerys pulled up with the dragon Arax, Arax dragon knew the temperature. This was before Aemon was teased by the Baratheon girl. This was before Aemon even saw Luke or even knew he was at Storm's End, because Vhagar had beef and remembered the eye gouge. Arax was dead when he landed in Storm's End. There was a funny scene I'll play here when Luke and Arax are running to each other like, it's hot, we need to go. So when Arax blasted Vhagar in the eye, I thought Vhagar was legit scared and angry. Not the pain from the fire, but the memory of the pain. That was enough for Vhagar to go for the throat. So don't ask me why I thought Aemon was loyal to his older brother. I think the book can ruin your thinking. I think the book can influence, and it can also ruin your thinking. Because no matter what, usually when you read the book is first. You think you know what happens. Even though they're not the same, the TV show and the book, you may still miss some key details. I thought Aemon was like his mother, as in being dutiful, knowing his duty, playing his role. If Otto told his daughter, go marry that goat in the corner, because the goat owns a significant amount of property and gold, Alicent would be like, okay, father, and marry the goat. Maybe even have a few goat babies to strengthen the mighty Hightower. So I saw Aemon in that light, but I was very wrong. Aemon doesn't give a shit about anyone, even Otto. When Otto went to speak with him about seeing all the pieces on the board, not being too aggressive, for you can confine yourself and others against you. They can plot against you. You limit yourself to the betrayal for the pieces you do not see. He looks like he's listening. He doesn't say dumb things like his brother Aegon, but I really don't think he gives a crap. Aemon doesn't tell Otto or any of them Mr. Cole's plans. He doesn't intervene when Otto is sent away. He doesn't seem to care. How did I miss that? Aemon is not dutiful like his mother. Yes, he has no sacred honor, no sense of duty. His words are my house, my honor, my duty, but they are weak like a lot of words with no action. Aemon's words, they do not mirror or match his action. He wants all the power. He wants to be king. So no, he's not like his mother, and he isn't like his uncle. Side note, I always wish that they would add a twist like Daemon was his actual father. Hear me out on this, okay, guys? Targaryens love to rename their children, okay? There were 17 Targaryen kings. Daemon was the first. Who was Aemon named after? Why not name him Balon, after Jaehaerys' son? Jaehaerys had another son, Aemon. No, Aemon is not Aemon. That's not a namesake. I thought it was interesting. I mean, in plain view, Daemon flirts with Alicent when she was young, and she was happy to flirt back. I know guys like Daemon in the real world. Yes, Aemon would go to Pound Town with Alicent just as a middle finger to her father, Otto. Yes, I think Daemon did, not on the camera, but him and Alicent did have flirtations and smile at each other when she asked. If you ask me if Daemon and Alicent got together, I say yes. Even when he asked her for her favor after unhorsing Gwaine Hightower at the tournament, Alicent was wishing him good luck. Mushroom spoke of Alicent and Prince Daemon did get together. Even Daemon took her virginity, but anything Mushroom says you have to take with a grain of salt. A lot of salt. Yeah, I dare to say that he did have her. I even may say he had her before his brother and just didn't tell him. Remember the rumor about Rhaenyra and Daemon and how mad Alicent was when she found out? Remember when she found out about Rhaenyra and Mr. Cole? She wasn't that mad. It was different. House of the Dragon season 1 jumps a lot, so we miss a lot. Remember, Alicent was sent to the old king's room, Jaehaerys. Now he was old, he was a very old man at this time. Alicent read to the king. They were just books. Come on. I think there was more than reading, stories happening, but Alicent is a good reader. I know someone will find a way to justify it, but I'll move on. Let's move on from Aemon's questionable followerhood and just say it was Viserys. Before I close this, Aemon is not like his uncle Daemon, who would have never hurt his brother for the throne, even though it was most desired by him, even though his brother kept him at a distance, even though his brother would never let Daemon sit on the throne, even when he was sick through the years. He let his wife run things, not Rhaenyra, not Daemon. Rhaenyra at this time and at that age was very grown. She should have been in King's Landing. She should have been running things. She should have had a grip on how things work. She should have had her own counsel. This didn't happen. No, Aemon is not his uncle Daemon. He will take the throne brutally. Why was his sword out after Aegon crash landed? There were no enemy troops around. I think if Mr. Cole didn't let himself to be known to be there, he might have ended his brother's suffering right then and there. You see, he grabbed the knife and just pointed at his brother and walked away. I think there was something else to that other than just the knife. Aemon could have went back to King's Landing, maybe marry moving on without his brother. But what he did was he made a crucial, drastic mistake. He moved too soon. He took his brother off the board when he needed him. You see, now he has to deal with Rhaenyra and Daemon. Okay, this was a major error. The TV show left no misunderstandings. He meant to hit his brother. He was trying to take them both out at the same time, because even though he grew strong, he grew tall, he's still that weak little coward boy inside. He committed the ultimate betrayal by attacking his own in war. It's worse than going AWOL. It's worse than fleeing from battle. It's one thing that you never do. Aemon saw an opportunity and to take both of them out, and that's what he tried to do. His brother Aegon just got the worst of it. That's a coward move, and the coward Aemon didn't think this through. When working with the brutal Mr. Cole, hacking and slashing his way across the land, the Greens not only lost their king, they lost their second and most powerful dragon rider. Now Vhagar has to deal with both Caraxes and Syrax. The other side, the Blacks have dragons, but they're too small to propose any kind of challenge to Vhagar. We'll have to wait to see who's assigned the unclaimed dragons, but you can say the Greens have Aemon's baby brother if he was to come into the war from Old Town, but his dragon is still too small. His dragon would be way too small to handle Syrax or Caraxes. Aemon's sister Helena isn't going to fight. She couldn't handle Baela, who will want blood after Rhaenys. She couldn't handle Rhaenyra's son either. They could plan an attack, but that would take Rhaenyra being present at the council meetings. That would take Rhaenyra taking advice. That would take Rhaenyra strategizing or making some kind of plan, organizing. Rhaenyra has shown complete and utter ineptitude in these matters. The Greens are in serious trouble, but Rhaenyra isn't much of a leader or a planner, so maybe the Greens have a chance. I am a huge Mike Tyson fan. His old trainer, Teddy Atlas, said something that I disagreed with.
I would say he's 0-5. To me, a fight is not a fight until there's resistance, until there's something to overcome. Something to overcome. Otherwise, it's just an athletic venture. It's an exhibition. I think life is that. You're not in a fight until there's pressure, resistance, overcoming something. Tyson's talent was so great. His physical ability, his talent was so overwhelming that the other stuff never got tested. If there's anything inside, you never knew. And then 5 times, whatever the real record is, 5 times there was resistance. 5 times it became a real fight. 5 times there was something to overcome. And he failed all 5 times.
But with wisdom and really thinking about it, I think he's 100% correct here. I like Tank Davis. I like a lot of Wilder's knockouts. Alvarez has good knockouts as well. There's a lot of heavy hitters in boxing, but Tyson was just a different animal. I mean, you saw fighters scared before he even hit them. Look at Spinks. He lost that fight before it began. What happens when the bully finds someone that is willing to go toe-to-toe and will not back down? You see the truth. I think Aemon's truth is he's a great fighter, but I think he will have to meet his uncle. He will have to deal with Rhaenyra, and in the end, he'll have to show just how tough he really is. I remember the coward and scared young little boy who still very much lives inside the grown exterior. Let's see who shows up when the fight is really on, and the sneak attacks with Vhagar don't work. Tywin Lannister sealed the war for Robert when sacking King's Landing, and I believe Aegon sealed the loss of the war for the Greens. Aemon committed the ultimate betrayal here. He hurt his house, the house he claims to protect, but we'll see what the show has in store in future episodes. That's all I got today. Thank you for watching this episode. Good night.